ready.
Well, I feel pretty much at home in a vehicle like this. This is one of my favorite kind of trikes. This is the new Solairus with AIR in the word Solairus, so it's a clever turn of phrase. And this is a soaring machine. This is intended to go aloft and turn the engine off and then fly it around like a hang glider, except one where you're seated quite comfortably. It's got quite a nice structure to it here, which I've got to ask you about, but this is a Part 103 vehicle, no pilot's license required, no medical required, no N number required. It's got a 4-stroke engine on it with electric starting and still meets the requirements easily to make 103, I'm guessing,
right. Oh, yeah.
Which is a 254-pound maximum weight and some other parameters about speed. But really what this is about to me, firing up this engine, powering it up 300 or 400 feet a minute, whatever its climb rate is, doesn't matter. It's not a fast climber. It's a small engine. It's a 20 horsepower engine out of the UK called a Bailey. But that's not the point. The point is you may go full power for 10 minutes, and at the end of that time you're at 3,000 or 4,000 feet, which on a good day with white puffy clouds like today, you might be able to soar if you've got the skills. And even if you don't, and you come back down, you fire it back up and go try again. So it's a neat way for somebody to learn how to do soaring flight in this kind of aircraft, with some training, of course. And for those of us that already know how to do it, it's a nice, comfortable position where you're not in the hang gliding harness. You've got structure around you to a certain extent, and this thing will really soar when we get aloft. But I got to ask you, Cameron, I don't really see much structure here. I'm going to get out of the seat and let you point out to us what this is all about here.
Sure. Well, you commented that it's very, very comfortable. And if you looked at the design, and if you ever looked inside a sailplane, a single-place sailplane aircraft, the seat looks really similar to this.
It sure does.
And that's what I designed it on.
I love this leg support you've got down here.
That's right.
You're going to be aloft in a long time.
Well, we're hoping that, you know, the average guy's going to soar for a couple hours.
Yes. So the amount of power and the amount of fuel you've got will allow flying for quite a while. What is the engine? If you ran under engine the whole time, how long would it last?
Well, it's a 3-gallon tank.
3 gallons.
And it goes through a gallon or less an hour.
A gallon or less an hour. So you could fly for almost 3 hours under power.
That's right.
But you wouldn't typically do that in this aircraft.
That's
So
not
you
what
could
it's
be up
designed for.
all day on a good day. Therefore, this comfortable seating is really nice. But again, is this the structure, Cameron?
Well, it is partial structure. Both top and bottom shells have a channel. This channel, there's fiberglass, and when we get to this point, this becomes a carbon fiber channel channel tube, if you would. And the same thing on the bottom, all the way from front to rear, that becomes a carbon fiber channel. And so it's very, very strong. And,
Okay, that carbon fiber part is part of what we're seeing here that's red right now? I mean,
Well,
maybe not the carbon fiber's not red, but...
Right, yeah, the structure underneath here is carbon
In other words,
fiber.
metal comes down and mates up with carbon fiber.
That's right.
Okay, and the
Now-
same on the front end, because I see metal parts down here in the nose wheel.
Right, there's a tube that comes out from about here that's connected inside here, and it comes out forward to hold the nose wheel.
Okay, so why did you do it this way? Instead of, typically this is metal all the way front to back, metal all the way up, nothing wrong with that, but this is obviously different, and you thought this through for what purpose? Why do you do it this way, Cameron?
Well, I wanted drag reduction. I wanted to get the best efficient trike for a motor glider that we could possibly get.
And it is nice, it's fared all the way back here. I flew one from another company with the same engine on it, and it was not that way. It was a fun little aircraft to fly, but it didn't have much aerodynamic efficiency, I have to admit.
Right. Our ATF trike, which is tubes and plate construction, doesn't have a front fairing. It doesn't have faired-in axles or wheel spats. Doesn't have an airfoil mast. When we took the two trikes and switched wings on them back to back on the same day, we increased our glide ratio by 1.5.
Is that right?
Glide ratio. So from 10 to 1 to 11.5 to 1 with this fuselage.
That's a pretty significant gain. It may only be 10 or 12% or whatever that number turns out to be, but that's a pretty good gain in an aircraft that's already pretty lean. Faired mast, faired struts, the smooth finish to it, the way the engine is almost completely cowled in, and you got to come around here with your camera in a second and look at these wheel pans. There's a lot of people that look at this and go, well, you forgot the most important part. What about the front of the wheel? In fact, an aft fairing, which is all this is aerodynamically almost as efficient as a whole fairing.
That's right.
But doesn't give you the extra weight and the possibility of things getting in there nearly as much. Is that the thinking here?
That's right, especially when you go back to aircraft that are flying under 50 miles an hour. And this goes back to the 1930s.
Right. Yeah, this is common back when.
Yeah.
And you don't see it much anymore, but I love it. I think it's a neat little style effect as well as an aerodynamic advantage.
Yeah.
So while we're back here and the camera's right here with us, we're looking here at this Bailey engine. Now tell us a little bit more about the Bailey.
The Bailey engine is designed and built in the UK. It's primarily, the guts in it is a Honda engine, so it's very durable. It has
really?
good
Okay,
luck
I
with
didn't
this
know
motor.
that.
Very
You're talking
smooth.
the crankcase and some of the heavier parts?
The pistons,
Or
cranks.
The more bulky parts to it? Okay.
Yeah, and the cylinder. It's air-cooled, fan air-cooled engine, so we can have it inside the cowling.
Ah, okay, so it's got a fan. Cause I don't see any place for air to get in there, really. Maybe there's an inlet somewhere, but...
Exactly. We have not found a successful two-stroke engine to run in here without being overheated.
Ah, okay.
So the four-stroke
you kind of need the four-stroke on the Solairus.
Is the best application for this trike.
Well, there's an awful lot of pilots that will say, four-stroke, really? You've got a fellow waiting to talk to you here, and he said that exact thing, and I thought so too. This little tiny single-cylinder engine is four-stroke and electric starting.
And electric start, and an automatic choke.
And an automatic choke, so, and it worked really well when I flew this on another craft. But this was designed and used for guys doing powered paragliders, was it not?
That's right.
So, I mean, this is an engine you can actually sort of wear on your back. That's not quite exactly how it works, but with a frame, but still, you're carrying the weight of the engine. So, that's a pretty lightweight engine and therefore fits this whole aircraft. But even details like this here, Dave. We got a little bit of fairing right down here on the landing gear strut. Just all the details seem to be taken care of in this aircraft. I'm really impressed by the Solairus.
And and this does have suspension. This is a fiberglass rod suspension.
Okay, great.
And the structure inside here, there is a chromoly structure in this area of the aircraft that hooks the top channel to the bottom channel and attaches the engine to the chromoly frame.
I see, okay.
This is a chromoly.
So the engine is mounted onto the chromoly then? Okay.
That's right.
All right.
This is a chromoly mast.
So that's good for things like vibration and whatnot over the course of time.
Right. You're not mounting it right to the carbon,
right?
Which has been unsuccessful in the past for vibration and cracking. So
and when I flew this engine last year, I used it under full power for 10 minutes. I did not have any hearing protection. Normally I would do that. I would never fly without some hearing protection, but in that particular setting, I just didn't have that opportunity with the helmet I had. And at full power for 15 minutes, I didn't find that annoying sound at all. It's a little different pitch to the engine because it's four-stroke.
And the prop develops that. It also helps in that sound. This is a Helix prop. It's very quiet and smooth.
And it's a belt-driven prop we see here, so you don't have the weight of a gear system. So once again, I see screws all the way along the fairing here, right down along this line.
Yep.
So clearly this is made to come off, and why would you take it off?
There's really no reason to take it off.
Just for
unless you had an
inspections and so
incident.
forth? Okay, just to check it out.
Yeah.
So for breaking down, I mean, this is a pretty light aircraft. What is the total weight, just as it sits here with full fuel, which is 3 whole gallons?
Yeah. With the fuel?
Yes.
Be 210 pounds.
210 pounds, that's with fuel. The Part 103 rule is 254 pounds of empty weight without fuel, so obviously you're 40 or 50 pounds under that, what seems like an impossible number to some people.
Right.
But then the mast folds down, and could you carry this in a small trailer or in a pickup or something like that?
I designed the structure in length and height to be a structure you can actually put in the back of a small SUV.
Okay, you can put it in an SUV.
Yeah, where you put the wing on top.
So that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
And the wing folds down in the same way that we've talked about on some of the other trikes. It is the strutted aircraft, so it can fold. This one will fold on the trike as well,
yes,
correct?
It will.
Okay. So for those windy situations when you want to protect the aircraft a little bit. But you see, this is the double surface wing here, and that's because this is intended to be this is a performance aircraft. It may look like a light little flying machine, but this really a performance machine because it's meant to be used in soaring flight or using currents of lift to go along.
To break this down, we talk about it a little bit. I mean, to actually
Absolutely.
put it.
How do you do that?
Well, all you need to do is pull this pin.
Okay.
Once your wing's off, you can easily rock this trike over to the side, pull this pin, put this little wheel in there.
Oh, that's what I thought that was just something you picked up to stop it from rolling.
But now you got a very narrow wheelbase. It lowers it down, and that'll support it in the back of your SUV. The front tube comes out completely after you take the
forward
fairing off.
support tube here?
No, this
okay.
The front rib tube here.
I see, okay. It unplugs or something?
this
Oh, I see,
pin.
yeah, there's a pin down there.
The whole tube comes out, so now you're ended up with a structure this length, from here back.
Yeah, you know, I believe that might fit in my SUV. I
Oh,
happen to
yeah.
have one, so.
This
And
is-
you're all folding down here as well.
This
so.
all folds down to this
Yeah.
level here. The
Again,
prop
a nice
comes off with
sturdy
a quick.
looking construction here, some substantial parts.
Oh yeah. This is a quick disconnect prop. You
Even
pull
the prop
pin,
comes off quickly.
You pull the plate off, and the props come off, and you don't have to have any tools to remove your prop.
Wow. There's a lot of good thinking on this, and obviously there's going to be more questions people have about this. Where do we go to find out some more about the Solairus? By the way, it's not the way you usually spell it, and I love this little turn here, putting air right in the middle of it. But, so where do we find out more about the Solairus?
Yeah, to find out more about any of our products in the Solairus, go to northwing.com, and you'll find many links there to our numerous amount of products.
Excellent.
And you're, I guess, looking forward to flying this.
Yes, I've had the pleasure to fly a lot of Cameron's aircraft and several of his wings, even his hang gliders and so forth. But this one I've not yet flown, but I got the hots to do so. Hopefully we'll have a report on that. You'll see that along with all the other ones on bydanjohnson.com or bydanjohnson.com.